Hey everyone, Nate here with Outside Cleaners. I'm here on Cape Cod, Massachusetts, where I wash the outside of buildings for my livelihood. Because of where I live and the architecture and such, that mostly means that I clean bare wooden surfaces, and one step further, I mostly clean cedar for my living. Cedar of all shapes, conditions, types. There's no perfect way to clean cedar. There just isn't. Every method has its pros and cons, its benefits and its drawbacks. As an exterior cleaner, the best thing I can hope for is to have a full list of options of how to clean cedar and best match it to the application, because the devil's in the details. So where I am, my kind of, like, I guess you'd say my bread and butter, so to speak, is cleaning white cedar shingled sidewall, which is in, kind of neglected condition. So white cedar is the standard siding here on Cape Cod. White cedar siding that is, well maintained and properly installed, that will easily last 30 years as sidewall here on Cape Cod. And we have some pretty tough weather for exterior surfaces. For the most part, my clients call me not when, cedar siding is looking like this, but when it's looking like this. In this video, I'm going to explain one method that I use to clean white cedar shingled siding when it's in a pretty neglected condition. I'll acknowledge right up front that what I'm going to describe is very controversial in my industry. You can easily find all sorts of experts who say to never ever do what I'm going to show you. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, for sure. But I'll point out that, the thing that they say to never do, I've been doing for 15 years or more. This feeds my family. And if it was as destructive or foolish as the experts say, I couldn't do this. Like, word would get around, hey, Nate's destroying buildings. He's ruining your siding. The method I'm describing here, some people call power washing. Some people call deep cleaning. Some people call, cedar restoration. The idea is this. I'm going to apply a cleaning solution to the cedar. The cleaning solution is going to loosen the organic growth and wood fibers on the outer layer of these shingles. I'm going to let that dwell for a little bit. And then I'm going to carefully and skillfully power wash that organic growth off of that cedar. And along with it, I'm going to take the outer 1 to 2 millimeters of dead wood off of that cedar. Now, in that way, you might think of this as sort of like water sanding. Now, most people can conceptualize that you can, sand a gunky piece of wood and remove that funky surface and expose bare, clean wood. What I'm describing here is kind of that process, but using not a sander, but appropriate chemicals and then appropriate pressurized water rinsing. So let's start at the beginning. What are the materials and equipments I'm going to need to clean, a typical white cedar shingled sided house here in my area? Well, I'm going to need a power washer. And it's not about the pressure, it's about the flow rate. So any power washer with an appropriate flow rate will do. I don't care that it goes up to 5,000 PSI. I don't care that it goes up to 3,000 or 2,200 PSI. I'm not going to get anywhere near that for my application. What I do care about is the flow rate. 4 gallon a minute minimum, 5.5 is better, 8 is even better. But my point is, the little like electric Ryobi Home Depot things, not going to work. Don't even try it, okay? Because I need flow rate. Flow rate is how I'm going to do this. It's not about pressure. It's about flow rate. Yeah, I'm going to need power washer hose. I'm going to need 200 feet or more to do most jobs in my area. The wand. No, I'm not going to use this big, stupid, like double-handed battle axe. I'm going to use this, a simple Suttner. I think this is a ST 1500 handle with an aluminum lance. This is a very, very lightweight setup. I use a 28-inch lance that's sized pretty well for my size. For me personally, this setup gives me the best control. You might find a different need based on your frame and physicality. I'm going to need a pump system because I'm going to have to saturate all this siding with a cleaning solution. So cleaning the siding on a typical house in my area using this method, I'll use 100 to 200 gallons of cleaning solution. My point here being, no, you cannot do this with a pump sprayer. For the bleach guys in this industry, no, you can't use your downstream injector to apply this cleaning solution. You're going to need to draw it directly from a bulk tank. Now, on my job sites, I've used bulk tanks that were either hard mounted to my truck, 120 gallons. I've used 275 gallon IBCs. I've used 30-gallon trash cans. Doesn't really matter. Everything has its pros and cons. Again, the important thing is I'm mixing it in bulk and then I'm applying it straight from the bulk mix. I am not watering it down, not diluting it, not injecting it. I'm applying it straight. Yeah, pump system I've talked about at length in my other videos, but you can use whatever works, whatever gets your cleaning solution from the tank onto the siding. And that can be a bilge pump attached to a garden hose, that can be 12-volt diaphragm pumps, that can be air diaphragm pumps. I've seen guys using like $100 Chinese gasoline transfer pumps. The point is you're going to have to saturate the siding with real volume. So what is my cleaning chemical of choice for white cedar siding? It's this stuff. This is a blend with primarily sodium percarbonate, aka oxygen bleach, aka hydrogen peroxide. It's also got some sodium metasilicate and some other stuff in it. For many years I used this stuff. In recent years, I've switched to this stuff because I find its performance completely indistinguishable, but its cost is noticeably less. If you're interested in ordering, here's the link. So here's the basic process. I'm going to use typically half a cup of this stuff to every gallon of water. If I'm cleaning a surface that's truly nasty, I might use as much as a cup for every gallon of water. If I can use warm water, it mixes a little better than cold water. One trick I've used to mixing this stuff is to fill my tank up halfway, add the powder, fill it up the rest through a fan tip from a power washer. That way the blasting water does a great job of dissolving the powder. All right, so obviously everything on this wall that I'm cleaning is going to get saturated with water. So we got to be safe, especially, electrically speaking. Light fixtures, electrical outlets, all of that. The best thing by far is to just turn off the circuit breakers in the house that send power to these fixtures and outlets. Turn it off. Before I apply the cleaning solution to the sidewall, I'm going to saturate everything else in the area with water, straight water, and that includes plants, landscaping, air conditioning units, cars, anything like that. The reason being, when I'm cleaning the sidewall, it's going to make a mess. It's like a food fight, and that splatter is going to dry more quickly on a dry surface than it will on a wet surface. Secondly, and the bleach guys will understand this, what I want to do is I want to saturate plantings and landscaping so that it's less likely to completely absorb the cleaning solution as it sprays or runs off here. Now, this is an oxygen bleach based cleaning system. An oxygen bleach in my industry is widely touted as being eco-friendly. But here's the thing that so many people get wrong. Eco-friendly doesn't mean harmless. So I'm going to take many of the same precautions that the bleach guys are going to use in terms of pre-wetting and post-rinsing everything in the area. When I'm cleaning cedar buildings, I do one wall at a time. That means basically I apply the solution to one wall. I let it sit for 10 or 15 minutes. I'm not going to let it dry. As I let this stuff sit for 10 or 15 minutes, if everything does start to dry, I'll just squirt it down again. Doesn't hurt anything to keep it wet. Now I really go to work. using the power washer, using a fan tip, vertically oriented. I'm going to go side to side like a typewriter or like I'm eating an ear of corn. Side to side, vertical fan tip. Now let me stop right here for a moment because I don't want to sugarcoat things. This part of the process is hard. Getting it right is very difficult. The learning curve is long and steep. Use too much pressure or have the tip too close to the surface. Yep, you're going to screw it up, and that screw up is going to be permanent. Similarly, and this is what a lot of people get wrong, if you don't rinse hard enough, it's going to look good wet, and then it's going to look crappy dry. By rinsing treated sidewall with pressurized water, I'm not just trying to rinse off the organic growth. In fact, again, I'm water sanding this. I am literally removing the outer 1 to 2 millimeters of wood. Where does that 1 to 2 millimeters of wood go? Does it disappear? No. It turns into this paper mache-like pulp. A major, and I mean major, rookie mistake is to not thoroughly rinse off everything time and again. And then what happens is when the job site dries, they find that this stuff, this pulp, this cedar pulp or fiber is dried in clumps and sticking over everything. And the only way to get that off is to rewash everything again. So I can't emphasize enough the importance of rinsing and re-rinsing walls that are clean. And I'm talking about not just the wall. We want to rinse, the nearby vegetation, lampposts, lighting. And for God's sakes, before you wash a white cedar shingled wall in this manner, make sure you have the screens out, because otherwise the window screens will end up like a giant filter. All right, so this is the point where everyone asks, "Oh, what pressure? What pressure do we use?" Here's the thing, okay? How far is your tip from the surface of the wood? Is it 4 inches or 5 inches or 8 inches? Because that, as much as anything, will profoundly affect the pressure that cedar sidewall is seeing from your rinsing nozzle. Okay, so we can talk about what to set your machine at all day long, but the most important part of this process is your hands, your arms, your elbow, and the skill in those things. And that's what is so profoundly missing in people attempting this process. And that is why power washing of white cedar has such a bad reputation in this industry, because it's so easy to f up. If this was easy, if it was as easy as it looks, if somebody could pick this up and learn it in a week, I'd be out of business in no time. That being said, to answer some questions, I did once put a gauge on my machine, and with my setup, which again was going through 200 feet of hose and my own tip setup and all that stuff, and I'm cleaning with a very consistent 6 inches from the surface. My machine output at the machine before the hose was about 500 psi. Pro tips: do this on a sunny day. The oxygen bleach base cleaner is photoactive. In other words, the more it's exposed to sunlight, the stronger the chemical is. So when I wash a cedar house on a sunny day using this process, it comes out looking better than if I do it on a cloudy day. Similarly, the warmer the day, the better. Jobs I do in August end up looking brighter and lighter than jobs I do when it's 38 degrees out. Right, obviously this is messy. A lot of stuff splattering back at me, so eye protection is a must. I've tried all sorts of glasses for this work, but these are by far the best I've found. Special thanks to Chris from Summit Exterior Cleaning for turning me onto these. These don't fog up, and they are impact rated and all that stuff. They're not just for show. I'll put a link to these in the description of this video. Trying to think of other common questions. I've spoken elsewhere. I've made videos about brightening cleaned wood with oxalic acid after cleaning. Using this product as I've described, I don't find the need. Comes out looking good. Hope that helps somebody. Bye for now.